So this is a very important video right away. Make sure to smash the like button, share this video because right now there's a huge narrative about uh, this bill that is going to pass through. Right, Trump calls it the big beautiful bill. Some Democrats are calling it the ugly bill because they are trying to fear monger individuals into thinking that this bill will cut Medicaid or terminate Medicaid and people will lose. People will lose their livelihoods and they will die. Right, according to minority leader Hakeem Jeffries. I'm going to play that clip. That's a crazy clip. But Speaker Mike Johnson took it into his own hands to basically try to defeat that narrative. Trump was also informed on this that hey, a lot of people in minority communities or even in white communities all around, right? Minorities and white people, poor people, people on Medicaid, people in the middle class or lower are going to lose it all. This bill is going to damage them for life. So shout out to Speaker Mike Johnson because he actually went on Meet the Press, and we already know about Meet the Press, and he basically was asked about this specific topic. It's a very important topic because again, there's a lot of fear mongering that's going on. I'll show you exactly what I mean by that. But let's play this because this is a very, very important segment for the country and the sake of the country. Because if once the bill goes into law, you might see chaos in the streets because of what people may believe about the bill versus what's actually true. Take a listen.
Let's talk about that 4.8 million number. That is a CBO number, by the way, which estimates how many people would lose Medicaid if this bill were to go into law. The CBO.
Wait, hold on. They don't, Kristen, they don't.
Wait,
okay.
Let me make my point, and then I'll let.
Okay. So you already see the narrative and good control of self, but you already see Speaker Mike Johnson getting tested here immediately.
Let you make your point. I think it's important to point out the CBO is not saying specifically those 4.8 million are engaging in fraud. They say many will lose coverage because of paperwork, red tape, or failing and falling short of the new rules. So just let me ask you directly, do you have any actual proof that these people are engaging in fraud? Millions of Americans, as you say.
This is very important distinction. Those 4.8 million people will not lose their Medicaid unless they choose to do so. I will go into any town hall in any district in America and explain what this is, and every single person will nod their heads and go, "Oh, that makes sense." You're telling me that you're going to require the able-bodied, these young men, for example, okay, to only work or volunteer in their community for 20 hours a week, and that's too cumbersome for them? I'm not buying it. The American people are not buying it. This is a new requirement. It should have been put in a long time ago. And the people who are complaining that these people are going to lose their coverage because they can't fulfill the paperwork, this is minor enforcement of this policy, and it follows common sense. When people work, when able-bodied young men work, it's good for them, for their dignity, their purpose.
It's good for the community. It's good for us. From where I grew up at, it's good. This is amazing work. This is what we need. Many people have, for some reason, just engaged, and I can only speak for where I grew up at, but we a lot of people just engage in being too complacent, right? Getting taken care of by the government, never wanting to get off government assistance. As a whole, when we're speaking of this topic of complacency or what young men can do or cannot do. So this is a huge announcement.
Purpose, and it's good for the community they're in. If you can't find a job, then volunteer in your community for 20 hours and you will meet the requirement. That is a basic minimal standard.
That's basic minimal standards. You meet the requirement to get the benefits. Only 20 hours. Only 20 hours to do community work, which is what we need. This is a game changer, man. Like this is amazing work. This is what we need in the community. And I got a lot of people that follow me or a lot of people that I know about that don't even like Trump. They love this about this side of the bill. You won't lose it. You just need to show proof that you work in the community and you're working for the community. If young men work, America becomes better. Why is that hard? Why would that ever? I just don't get this Democrat ideology. I really
cutting one benefit in Medicaid to anyone who's duly owed. What we've talked about is returning work requirements. So, for example, you don't have able-bodied young men on a program that's designed for single mothers and the elderly and disabled. They're draining resources from people who are actually do that. So if you clean that up and shore it up, you save a lot of money and you return the dignity of work to young men who need to be out working instead of playing video games all day. We have a lot of fraud, waste, and abuse in Medicaid. Just one tiny example. The estimate is $51 billion a year in Medicaid is lost to fraud. That's unconscionable. We now have, with the DOGE efforts and with new algorithms and with new oversight responsibilities and opportunities, we have ability to carve that out. We have a
Is he wrong? Is he wrong though? A lot of people are freaking out about this announcement about what could come from the big beautiful bill. But again, it's just 20 hours a week, able-bodied young men. This is just what it is. $4.8 million, 4.8 million people will not lose it unless they meet the requirements to get the basic needs of Medicaid. Is he wrong, or is this too excessive? But this is the announcement. And apparently I'm starting to think that Democrats can only be successful in America if nobody gets off government assistance. I'm starting to think that that the Democrat Party needs struggle in order to succeed. They need people to constantly struggle as a whole. You could struggle in your life. We struggled. Me and my family struggled, but then we succeeded. So I'm starting to think that the Democratic Party is not a party of wanting people to succeed. It's just more like wanting people to always be struggling because they'll always remain the party that will vote. It's so confusing. I maybe I'm not explaining that correctly, but here's Hakeem Jeffries basically exploiting for people that are not into politics, that only watch CNN or only watch Democrat news or nothing moderate. He goes on the news and he says that this bill can potentially, if going into law, could potentially kill people. This is the same ideology that was used from Bono, musician from U2, Irishman, very, very much in bed with Democrats, WEF. You guys know how that goes. But Bono basically went on Joe Rogan and said that many people, over 300,000 people have lost their lives because of the USAID cuts that Doge made. So this is the ideology that makes people radical. I spoke about this on my latest video, but throughout this announcement, this big, beautiful bill, right? This is the number one talking point, and it's been cleared up by Speaker Mike Johnson. Very important that people understand what's going on. But to those who don't understand what's going on and they're watching this guy, they're going to think that this is the end of the world.
Trump's one big ugly bill narrowly escaped the House of Representatives, and we're going to continue to press our case across the country, partner with Senate Democrats in making clear to the American people the type of damage that this bill would do if it ever became law. This bill actually hurts everyday Americans in order to reward billionaires. It would strip away health care from approximately 14 million Americans. Premiums, co-pays, and deductibles for tens of millions more will go up. Actually, if it ever were to be implemented into law, hospitals will close, nursing homes will shut down, and people will literally die at the same time.
Okay.
This bill represents.
You see where I'm going with this? You see why a video like this is very important? That the conversation and that we hear out what's really going on in this bill, you can just read through it before it comes law. Just read through it. I've been reading through it, and I just haven't seen, like, the mathematics have not hit me to where people are probably going to die. But according to Democrat leaders that people take very serious, and networks that unfortunately Americans take serious. I don't know how many Americans take CNN serious anymore, but he would go and he would push this because it's beneficial to continue to get people, while they don't have the policies, to continue to get people to believe that it's the end of their world as they know it. Because I remember when I was younger and Mitt Romney was running for president. So true story. Mitt Romney, I was like, man, I don't know what age I was. It's like 2012. Mitt Romney and Obama. This is Obama's going into Obama's second term. And I remember there was a panic in my community, a panic in my neighborhood. A guy named Anthony was going to go vote. And he was like, man, we got to go vote. We got to go vote. We got to go vote for Obama, because if we don't vote for Obama, they're going to take away everything from us. We're never going to be able to have food. We're never going to be able to eat. We're never going to be able to get our food stamps, our SNAP benefits. This was a real conversation like this. Obama needed to win because Mitt Romney was going to be a disaster. So this is kind of like the same messaging from that time. If Trump becomes president, they're going to take everything away from us. But like, we never really talk about what we really need to talk about. It's like, oh, there's friends of mine that are sharing videos of people being deported. It's a very sad thing. People being deported. As a Christian, as a human, I look at that, I'm like, damn, that's terrible. That sucks. But what they don't show is like what happened in the last 4 years that caused all these people to come unvetted. Hey, we don't even know who's here. We don't even know what's going on. A lot of people are saying that we should prepare for another 9/11 because of what's going on with Israel, Palestine, and a lot of people don't even talk about or ever show the side of Obama deporting people, Obama deporting, people on Fordham Road in the Bronx. So like they never show that, but they'll show the woman and the man crying because they know that it'll grasp your emotions and it'll make you not think or really hate a party or hate an ideology. So this is what it's become. We fear-monger you, and so we don't even have to give you anything. We just fear-monger you that your livelihood, it's over if these people win. And a lot of people have grasped that. They have grasped that. Let me sure I say that word right. But they have grasped that to be, and there I go using it again. But that's their reality. That became the reality for the last 15 years. So it's a very weird time that we're living in as far as narratives go, but this is a huge announcement by Speaker Mike Johnson clarifying of what it is that's really going on there. Meet the press. I thought that was very important. But we'll see. We'll see where this goes. Rhinos are trying to make it hard for Trump, and then you still got Democrats, knowing that they don't have a party anymore, really. But the only thing that they could do is just make you, at this point, their last fighting strategy that could work, by the way, is you will die if you don't, eventually vote for us in, the primaries, or eventually vote for us in the next election. This is the only thing they got left. And this is how they're trying to battle this bill.